This is the time I went to Mexico, my first day. So we went on a car. It was a minivan. It was a purple one, and then stuff we were all full. In total of us, there was like 6 people. It was me, my brother, my cousin, my aunt, and my parents, my mom and my dad. Inside of the car was full. We had luggages on top, inside, in the middle of the seats. It was crazy, but it was fun. On the way on our way there, we played a lot of games. And this was our first day actually going to Mexico. It was from the San Fernando Valley to Mexico, which in total is a total of 30 hours, which is crazy. And if you don't know where San Fernando Valley is, it's basically in LA. So imagine driving from LA all the way to Guadalajara. We'll pass Guadalajara for 2 more hours. That's a total of 30 hours, which is crazy, but it was fun. Yeah, so this was my first time as I said in Mexico, and it was it was one of the weirdest but coolest experience. Even though I personally like it better in airplane. Last year in April, I went on an airplane, and it was much better. To get to Mexico, we went from California to Arizona to cross Mexico because LA traffic is the worst. But we went at 4 a.m. so there was no traffic. But crossing Arizona is much easier because my parents wanted to cross most of the United States, so we don't have to cross a bunch of Mexican land because Mexico it's not the world's safest place. Let's just say it's not that safe, but it's a beautiful place though. Anyways, when we wanted to go eat, we wanted my parents wanted tacos, but me and my cousins wanted McDonald's, cause whitewash. Anyways, that was funny, but we did ended up eating at a taco place, on a restaurant. Anyways, when we were in the car, we were so bored. I mean, imagine being in the car for 30 hours. So we played this little game. Every time we see an OXXO, we will scream OXXO, OXXO. And if you don't know what an OXXO is, it's basically like a seven, what's it called? 7-Eleven, but in Mexico. And an OXXO is also, basically it's also a gas station. Anyway, so we were looking for tacos. And we stopped at this one place. We were like, oh, my dad was like, oh yeah, this is a nice place. Let's stop here. So we stopped there. And they sold tacos. But unfortunately, the tacos stank. They were disgusting. And it's nothing against tacos or anything, just the way that they served the food. The food was cold. Not to mention how expensive they are. So we had to. So from now on, we always go to restaurants. Anyways, it was like 12 at night the same day. We left at 4 a.m. and we stopped at 12 in the night just to rest at a hotel. We were so happy because they had Wi-Fi. Like, finally, Wi-Fi. We were waiting for you the whole day. Anyways, we were posting on our Instagram stories and doing crazy stuff. And the next day and the next day in the afternoon is when we got to Mexico City, or our little town in Mexico. It wasn't exactly where our town, it was like 5 minutes away, but in between my town and my not and there's another town where we basically go to buy stuff. And there's this place called La Michoacana, which is now in the United States. But basically they sell water, ice cream, a ton of stuff like that. And that was the first time that I tried it, and it was delicious. I believe I tried the strawberry one, but they have many flavors, and I got the largest one. That was a fun experience. My first day there. Anyways, then we went to our town. It was only 5 minutes away from the Michoacana. In our house, we haven't. Keep in mind, this is our first time in Mexico, so wow, it was crazy to see our big house. It's like a two-story house. My dad was sending money for the past 14 years. So when they got their thing, they were so their green card. They got excited, and we finally got to meet our grandparents for the first, not for the first time, just like we haven't seen them in more than 8 years, I believe. I may be wrong though, but yeah, it was funny. My grandma started crying because she hadn't seen us in a long time, and my grandma didn't know we were coming. My grandpa did, and my grandpa came. He was riding a horse. It was cool. My grandpa actually takes care of horses. Well, he doesn't take care of horses. He takes care of cows, but he likes horses. So yeah, he was on a horse, and it was really cool. That same day, we also met our cousins. Them I met for the first time. I met my dad's brother for the first time, and it was awesome. But it was a bit awkward, but awesome. Hmm. Oh, the same day. Well, the same week there. Another cousin from another town came. It was really fun. We did a lot of games like hide and seek, and we also played soccer in the street. And then that's like a Mexican thing to do, play soccer in the streets, which was fun. We played soccer. Sorry, I'm covering. I don't know why I did that. We played soccer, and here's the funny thing: my uncle lives in front of us, and they barely painted their house, like barely painted the house that same day next to the window. In the house, and the ball literally hit their fresh paint. So the next day they were mad, and up to this day you could still see the stain on the on their wall, a big black stain because of the ball. The next day they tried to clean that, but they didn't have enough paint to fix it. Oh, and my uncle in Mexico, the one that we splattered the wall, he actually sells ice cream. So every time we go to Mexico and we want ice cream, we just have to go across the street and ask for ice cream. But we don't have to ask, we have to buy it. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, he also sells other stuff, but that's the only thing that we actually care about. Just saying. And here, oh, and when we went to Mexico, one of my little cousins was having his birthday. So they made his birthday in my house, since we kind of live in the we live in the same area, in the same house kind of, except it's like one property but two houses in one. They live on the other property, we live in our property, on our house. Yeah, they were breaking the piñata, having fun, but me and my cousins were just inside, cause it was my first time in Mexico, and there was like a bunch of people that I didn't know, so I just felt awkward being outside and talking to those people, because I mean, no, even though most of them were related to me, I don't know them. So yeah, we just stayed inside, which was funny. Then, like on our second week there, my cousins were still there. So my my grandpa my grandpa has like this little place in Mexico in the mountains where he takes care of the cows. So we all went to go see it. It's a really cool place. It's in the mountains. It's like his private place. He goes every morning. There's like this little lake. I mean, his is the only one. His is the only property that has the little lake in where we're from. So yeah, we got to see that, and we also got to see my grandpa milk a cow, which was weird. And then when we were in Mexico, one of my cousins wanted to go to the a water place. So he told my uncle told my dad, and my dad said, "Yeah, let's go all together as one family." But the water slides area was closed, so we had to go to another place. And lucky for us, we found this place that had a pool for rent. It's for people to rent, and when we got there was only like one person there renting it. So when we went there, it's like a public pool, but it was only one person was there. So basically we got that place all by ourselves, and it was really cool. And on the other side, there was like a little river between the pool area and the mountains, and there was like a little lake, a river, and in the river there was like in the mountains there was like a little cave, but it was gated, so nobody could enter, which sucked, cause my cousins told me that there's a legend that says that inside the cave there's gold and all that stuff. During that day we had lots of fun, but then it started raining hard, and it was in summer. Yeah, it started raining, so we had to leave. But it was getting late also. It was really fun. Yeah, we spent 3 weeks in Mexico. This was like in 2014 when my parents got their green card in 2014. So like during that summer, that's when we decided to go to Mexico. And when we were packing to go home, my dad decided to take his car to a car wash area, but they messed up his oil, like the oil in his car, and they messed up the car, so we couldn't go. They had to fix the car. So we waited till the next day to leave, and we left Mexico. We probably could have stayed more, but I had school. Literally had school the next week. It was like the summer program school. Our summer program school where it was mandatory. School didn't start for another like 5 weeks. But I was entering high school, so I had to do it. It was my first year in high school. I was gonna be a freshman in 2014. I graduated.